Hey friends, welcome to the first and only episode of Cooking with the Blonde. Today we'll be making a smoothie full of some common foods that are rich in vitamin B1. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about thiamine.
Thiamine is a water-soluble vitamin of the B complex that plays a large role in turning food into energy in order to keep the nervous system healthy. Thiamine is an essential nutrient, meaning it cannot be synthesized by the human body, at least not in sufficient amounts for normal functioning, so it must be obtained from the food we eat or thiamine supplements. The history of thiamine dates back to the 1800s, when a strange sickness referred to as beriberi began devastating parts of Southeast Asia. People of all ages began developing beriberi and experienced symptoms such as muscle weakness and atrophy, significant weight loss, problems with coordination, lower extremity pain, numbness, loss of appetite, shortness of breath, disorientation, and even paralysis. In 1910, Japanese researcher Yumataro Suzuki discovered a baric acid and associated beriberi with the rice diets of Navy sailors. Suzuki noticed that lower-ranking crew who were given only rice to eat often fell ill, unlike higher-ranking officers who consumed a more varied diet with fish, meat, and other vegetables. Building upon this research, biochemists around the world independently worked to isolate, crystallize, and synthesize thiamine until it was officially coined as the first of the 8 B vitamins in 1936. Beriberi is now known as thiamine or vitamin B1 deficiency and is fairly uncommon in developed countries, although there are risk factors that can lead to this illness, such as a poor diet consisting of highly processed carbohydrates as well as alcoholism. As you can see on the slide, the name thiamine has numerous origins from different countries, but ultimately Robert Williams and his research team combined these names into thiamine itself. The main concern in regard to thiamine intake is not getting enough of it, which results in a deficiency. There are early signs and symptoms that can usually be treated by B1 supplementation or a diet change. Then there are more severe symptoms that are much more difficult to treat and can sometimes be fatal. This is not very common in the US since we have easy access to foods containing B1, and the large majority of people that do suffer from a deficiency are abusing alcohol. That happens as a result of alcohol damaging the lining of the intestines, which overall inhibits thiamine absorption in the intestinal tract, therefore leading to a deficiency. On the other end of the spectrum, having too much thiamine is not common, and it's pretty unlikely to reach a toxic level of thiamine from food sources alone, but in the setting of very high intakes, which typically happens from supplementation, the body will simply absorb less of the nutrient and flush out any excess amount through urine.
Welcome back, guys. We don't waste any time on this show, so let's get to it. Eating the right meats with vitamin B1 can be very beneficial for our body. It helps generate energy from nutrients and is necessary for the growth, development, and function of cells. First, we're going to cut up some salmon here with this very sharp knife. All right, guys, give me 1 second here. Perfect. And we're just going to throw that right in the blender. All right, next we some turkey. I'm more of a ham kind of girl, but this is fine. You just throw some of that right in there. Sorry for the reach, guys. Now we will add an egg. You just gotta crack an egg right in there. Lots of vitamins in this one. Oh man, my hand. Guys, I'm really sorry. That was very unprofessional. I'm sorry for that. We'll try again, but we'll try with the bowl this time. It's all right, guys. Oh, all right. All right, before I move on, I'm gonna pour myself just a little glass of wine. And since I'm of age, it's okay for me to have just a little bit, but not too much, because too much alcohol can deplete our bodies of thiamine. Just gonna sip right here. Bon appetit. Now let's move on to our veggies. Thiamine is essential for glucose metabolism, and it plays a large role in nerve, muscle, heart, stomach, and intestinal function. And vegetables are a great source of B1. We'll start with some asparagus spears. Yep. And we'll pour about a third or half of that in. Perfect. And now put some peas in to the right of the asparagus spears. Yep. Yep, that's good. And that juice is full of B1. And now the corn that's to the left of the asparagus. Oh, I washed my hands, guys, I promised. Yep. Yep. And then lastly, we can't forget our leafy greens. And throw a pinch in there. Oh, it happens. Perfect. Next, we'll move on to our grains products. I know what you're thinking. Addie, you just told us the grain is bad for us. But luckily, with modern advancements, such as food fortification, we can enjoy these foods with more nutritional value. But be aware, a diet consisting mainly of white flour, white sugar, and other highly processed carbohydrates can cause a thiamine deficiency. So I recommend sticking to whole grain. We have a whole grain piece of bread right here. You can just rip that up, or we can stick it in whole. I mean, whole works too. Yep. And then we're going to move on to our cereal over here, our fortified cereal. I go with the classic corn flakes. Yep. And then we'll put our whole grain flour. And I'm sorry guys, that was messy. And after we put the flour in there, perfect. Lastly, with our grains, we're going to put in a little bit of brown rice. Perfect. All right. Okay. Vitamin B1 plays an important role in helping electrolytes flow in and out of our cells. And here we have some miscellaneous items that you can find B1 in. First, we have some oranges. We'll throw a slice in there. And then we have some yogurt over here. And just eyeball it, give it a little squeeze. Yep. Again, messes are okay. And then lastly, we have some pistachios. And since pistachios are so expensive, we're not going to waste too many and just put a few in. Perfect. Now, any good cook must give their masterpiece a taste test. But since I'm actually a horrible cook, I'm not going to. Guys, it's been a pleasure. And remember, get that vitamin B1 in